So Village Vibes is really a space. It's a space where people can come, they can do a workshop, they can have an event, they can be part of a group, they can have a networking meeting here, they can grow their businesses here. We wanted it as a place for entrepreneurs to be able to grow their own businesses. We wanted it as a space for people to come and just have a good time, to enjoy themselves, to maybe learn a new skill, to grow a little bit, and just really find pieces of themselves and pieces of their journey that they maybe didn't even know that they wanted to start out on. Hi, I'm Jessica Marques. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm the co-owner of Village Therapy and Wellness and now Village Vibes. I have been a social worker for coming up to 20 years, and we have been in business with Village Therapy and Wellness for just about 7 years now, and Village Vibes is in its baby stages. We just started it in May.
First of all, it's a pleasure speaking with you, so thank you so
you.
much for taking the time. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you.
I want to take it back kind of to the early stages of your career because it's interesting how you kind of prefaced it with just been how we've been speaking and what I know about the business, as well as what I know about you and everything, how your career kind of is a transition of all these different things of like the mental, like working in the mental health
Yeah.
space, opening your own practice, and then now with this Village Vibes is. So can you give a little bit more in depth about, first of all, your career, but also like what the wellness and therapy is, and also what Village Vibes is?
Sure. So when I started out as a social worker, I started in the non-for-profit field, doing non-for-profit work, working with different kinds of people, specifically with a population that we started a medical program, right? So it was folks who had different kinds of severe and persistent mental illnesses, didn't get treated in the way that they needed to get treated medically. So we had a co-located program that I worked with. And that was kind of the start out in social work for me. And from there, I started to have a family and have children. And it just was too tight of a schedule for me. I wanted a little bit more freedom. My fast forward, I ended up at a wedding of a friend of my husband's, and Lisa, my co-owner, she was there with her husband. My husband and her have known each other since they were in elementary school, but we had never crossed paths. She's also a clinical social worker. We met at a wedding, and she had said that she was going into private practice and would I be interested? And I was very, very not interested at the time. I was, but I was scared. So she was kind of the catalyst to say, let's take this leap together. And we did really slowly. We started out in a small little office, one office, we were sharing it. And then by the end of that year, we grew into a second office, and we both had our own practices. We weren't doing anything together, just kind of sharing space, until finally a couple years later, we realized like if we ever really wanted true freedom in our practices, we were going to have to make it a group, and we were going to merge together and bring some other clinicians under us. And that's what we did in 2019. So 2019, Village Therapy and Wellness was born, and we have now 9 clinicians that practice under us in Village Therapy and Wellness. And we then decided through our practice, right, through working with clients and hearing what their needs are, everybody needs a sense of community, right? Somewhere to kind of be their most authentic version of themselves. And we wanted to create a space like that. So we created Village Vibes off of our work with our clients in Village Therapy and Wellness.
Can you elaborate a little more as to what Village Vibes is?
Yeah, so Village Vibes is really a space, but it's more than a space, right? So it's a space where people can come, they can do a workshop, they can have an event, they can be part of a group, they can have a networking meeting here, they can grow their businesses here. We wanted it as a place for entrepreneurs to be able to grow their own businesses. We wanted it as a space for people to come and just have a good time, to enjoy themselves, to maybe learn a new skill, to grow a little bit, and just really find pieces of themselves and pieces of their journey that they maybe didn't even know that they wanted to start out on.
Is that for just clients or is that for anybody in the?
Anybody in the community, right? So it came from our clients. We were always saying to our clients, find your community, find the place where you feel the most authentically you, right? Find a new hobby, find a place to learn, a place to grow. And a lot of them didn't have a place like that. So we wanted to create that space, right? That physical space for them to be in.
I want to focus on the community aspect of
Hmm.
it really quickly because
Yeah.
I think that it's a really interesting topic because I
Hmm.
think that society today is really lacking community.
Hmm.
And I was speaking with a friend recently, and that's actually a couple of years ago, and he made an interesting comment about therapy. He's like, I'm curious to think that so many people are in therapy these days
Hmm.
because they don't have any sort of community. And
Yeah.
what community brings, and therapy is great. Like I've gone to therapy.
Yeah.
Like this,
Hmm.
this is not any sort of knock on therapy because my mom and sister are both therapists. But it is an interesting. He's like, people just need people to talk to, And when they don't
Mhm.
have community, they don't have anybody to talk to, so they end up in
Great.
therapy because they're looking for somebody to talk to.
Mhm.
Now, granted, sometimes we still need, even when we do have community, we still need people to talk to specifically around certain things. But I'm curious on your take on that, just the lack of community in the world today. Or do you think it's always been like that?
I don't know if it's always been like that. I think that there is a lack of community in today's world. And even just as a social worker, right, the career is rooted in community and helping people find and helping your communities. And I think for Lisa and I, that's why this has been such a natural transition. The idea of people need community in social work, people need community, and we're trying to bring communities together. So I do think that today there is this lack of community. And I think part of vibes too is not only is there this lack of community, but there still is a really big stigma around mental health. So yes, there's more people in therapy today than there has been in the past, but there still is such a large stigma around mental health. So I think part of it was marrying the idea of community and taking a little bit of the stigma of mental health away. So yes, you could be in therapy and you can see your therapist and that could be part of your community, but having a space where you can go with people who are maybe like-minded, who want the same things as you, who want to have a space where they can just be themselves and really talk to people, or just have something different to do on a Friday night or different to do on a Sunday morning. I think that was really the idea behind Vibes for us. And I think that being able to service our community and create an impact on a different level than providing therapy or mental health services was also something that, like, the direction of our careers was going. We needed a different kind of space where in today's world, we need community more than ever.
Yeah, no, there's no question about that, especially
Yeah,
because a lot of the hobbies of today are becoming more and more
right?
like insular as
Yeah,
opposed to
we're
like,
so isolated,
yeah,
as connected
isolated.
as we are, we're so isolated. So,
Very
yeah,
interesting world that we're
it
interesting
is.
times.
It is.
Can you share some of the communities that have used this space?
Yeah, so we have some small businesses, right? Babes and Businesses used us for their networking breakfasts. We are heavily involved in the Babes community, and that's another piece of why we feel like community is so big because we've gained so much from involving ourselves in communities. We have small women entrepreneurs hosting events here. We had a woman who's also a therapist. She has a side business called So Sweet Sentimental. She came and she did a pressed flower workshop for us this weekend. And it was so successful and so lovely to see so many people in the same space, just enjoying themselves and doing something
Mm.
really fun and kind and nice. We also had an individual come in and do a mala bead making workshop. So a lot of small businesses, a lot of small women entrepreneurs looking to build their communities are also utilizing this space.
So if I'm understanding
Hmm.
correctly, and when we do the
Yeah,
tour, we'll talk about this a
sure.
little bit
Hmm.
further. Were you in this space originally, and
No.
then you were in the this
So we were up
across?
in the front of the building. So Village Therapy and Wellness was first for us, right? So we started out as our mental health practitioners there, and that's where all of our clinicians practice in the front of the building. And then this space became available in like maybe December of last year. So we thought this would be the perfect kind of venture for us
Mm.
to create a physical space for Village Vibes and create that community.
So can you talk to me about the practicality of splitting your time between
Uh,
this, your family,
mhm.
the therapy? How do you manage that?
It's not easy, right? So, and especially now because the vibe space is so brand new to us, so it's really been a little bit of a learning curve. We had Village Vibes like down to pat. We have our systems in
Village
place.
therapy.
Village Therapy, yeah, sorry. So Village Therapy is a well-oiled machine at this point, right? Putting our systems in place for that practice has been a lifesaver in terms of finding the balance for us. So we each have our role in that practice, Lisa and I, and we both know exactly what we need to do on
Hmm.
that front. I think the idea of having our own business has created a lot more flexibility, a lot more freedom for us to say, and having a co-owner, right? That's one of the benefits of having a co-owner, being able to say, I can't make this, can you do it? Or I can't take care of this one, can you do it? Or I see your plate's full right now, I got this. So having somebody that is in the thick of it with you has really been the the saving grace of work-life balance for us as a business owner.
Talk to me about some
Hmm.
of you mentioned some of that you were well-oiled machine over at
Yeah.
Village
Hmm.
Therapy. Talk to me about some of those systems that you put in place.
So our systems that we put in place really are electronic health record, right? That was a huge changing game for us, transitioning from paper records into an electronic health record where everything is just in one system. We've also split things up where Lisa kind of takes care of the front of the house, all of our client intakes, our phone calls, right, dealing with all of that, and I do more of the back end of the business where I'll do all of our billing, our finances, the HR portion of stuff for payroll and things like that. So being able to split the business almost into two entities where she takes care of one end of it and I take care of the other, that's how we've kind of developed our systems throughout the way. So she has created systems that work for her in the front of the house, and then my systems in the back of the house in terms of how we bill our clients, how we run the HR for our clinicians, doing those kinds of things. So creating systems that make sense for you and that work for you really is one of the best things I think anybody could do for their business.
Do you guys take insurance?
We do. We take insurance in network and out of network with certain policies.
So there's been a lot of push lately for like private practices in their
Hmm.
space, but even just in the
Yeah.
medical field in general, to go without taking insurance.
Yeah.
What made you decide to stick with insurance versus as opposed to just being cash?
So we're selective with what insurance panels we are in network with only because some of the insurance companies are so difficult to work with. And also in our area, some of them, the panels are very saturated and we couldn't even access them. So part of it was that, but we really want to remain accessible to the community.
Mm.
And not everybody is able to afford an out of pocket therapist, right? That's something that a lot of families just aren't able to pay weekly for. So being able to remain in on panel with certain insurances and then be able to help people access their out of network benefits for other clients who maybe we aren't in network with was really important to us to maintain our accessibility to the community.
I think that's incredible. I admire the fact that I know that working with insurance can be a headache.
It
So
can
I
be.
admire the fact that it's more about for the
Hmm.
community, and you're willing to sacrifice the headache of working with
Hmm.
insurance for the
Yeah.
benefit of the good for the people. How are people finding you?
So really a lot of what we have done is word of mouth. So we do advertise, right? We use Psychology Today or traditional methods for advertising, but we have really found that building a network of pediatricians, primary care doctors, gynecologists, even attorneys, the local school districts, we network heavily with those folks, and we have really worked really hard to create a clinical team that if I wouldn't send my own child to that
Mm.
person, we don't really want to bring that person on our team. It's really important for us that all of our clinicians are somebody that we would trust with our own family member.
So what are you
So
looking for when you bring in a clinician?
we're looking for somebody who is grounded, right? Somebody who is relatable, somebody who can meet a person where they're at, basically, right? So anybody that walks into the office, I'm willing to be right there with you in your story. And that's really the biggest thing for us, the connection. So I think the energy somebody brings to a room is something that we're really looking
Mm.
for. And I think that's what makes us a little bit different because we have a very relatable, down to earth energy here. It's not a stuffy practice. We want you to come in here and feel comfortable. We don't want you to feel worried when you're walking in the door about what you're going to talk about or what you're going to say. We just want you to be able to come in and be yourself. And I think that's really where therapy does its best work.
Mm.
So, energy is really the thing that we're looking for when a clinician is coming in to interview.
What's the demographic that you typically serve?
We serve everybody, right? We don't serve the little guys because we're just not equipped to do that.
Little as in,
6 and under.
okay.
So we don't serve 6 and under. So really 6 through end of life
What's the
is
majority of
ours.
your practice?
The majority of our practice is probably teenagers right now, 13 to 19, and then probably women from 25 to 55 would be the majority of our practice,
Mm.
I would say.
I don't know if it's the HIPAA question or not, but can you say how many people you serve?
On a weekly basis, we probably see over 100 people.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
So, one of the important things for us was being able to transition from a mental health practice, Village Therapy and Wellness, into something else. And that's really where Village Vibes has been created. Because if you walk down Fire Island Avenue over here in Babylon, private practices are popping up left and right, right? Mental health practitioners, there's at least 50 different mental health practitioners here in Babylon alone. So it was really important for us to be able to differentiate ourselves and create a brand for ourselves because we've done such a great job of letting people know who Village Therapy and Wellness is, and we have a wonderful reputation in the community. It was important for us to be able to create another segment of that where it wasn't just mental health driven, and it really set us apart as a private practice, that not only do we offer mental health services, but we offer something else as well.
I like that. I think a lot of businesses can benefit from the idea of like, okay, this market is very saturated. What
Hmm.
can I do to make us special?
Yeah. Hmm.
And I think that I think a lot of people get caught in, well, I'm just really good at what I do, and that very well could be the case.
Hmm.
But if people don't know about what you do, there's people forget that it's marketing and branding.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
marketing is, putting yourself out there, the sales aspect of it, but also the branding of who you are and what you stand for and all that stuff. And it's a really interesting conversation of like some people just do a lot of businesses do neither.
Hmm.
And that's a very interesting thing that they stay afloat regardless,
Right.
just from word of mouth.
And good for them.
But then a lot of people do focus on marketing, which is
Hmm.
just the sales aspect of it, and not the branding. And I think it's a combination of the two, and you think you guys are doing a really great job of that.
Thank you. I think it's been a learning curve for us because for our therapy practice, it was kind of like word of mouth, right? We had a really wonderful team and clinicians who made fantastic relationships within the community. So it became a very natural word of mouth business, and that did keep us afloat. But for Village Vibes, we are so new that learning marketing and learning sales has been the biggest challenge and transition for us in this business. And I think we're just kind of getting our feet wet there. So
What are some things that have and have not worked in marketing?
for so I think for my personally for me it's been very hard putting myself in the front of the camera and kind of like having our faces be the face of the business, whereas
Mm.
Village Therapy and Wellness, yes we were, but it was a very different kind of advertising, right? People maybe would just know us from our name of Village Therapy Wellness versus Jessica or Lisa. So being able to be Jess and Lisa in front of the camera, that's been one of the biggest challenges for me. What has worked though is really putting ourselves in front of the camera, right? And letting people get to know us. So I think that's been a learning curve for us and being able to do that more. And also learning like what our limitations have been. I'm not a social media person. So let's find social media people who
Mm.
get us and get our brand. And being able to do that has been tremendously helpful for us as well.
Let's talk about social media.
Yeah.
What does your social media presence look like? Like, what are you posting online?
So right now we're posting a lot of our events, right? We want to post heavily about in the beginning when we were first kind of developing our social media, it was who are we, what's our brand and what are we offering to the community? And now it's here's what we're offering to the community. So a lot of our events are there. We work with a social media team. The Iconogram is fantastic and absolutely amazing and is really guides us in the direction that we feel our brand needs to go. So you'll see a lot of our content being look at the workshop that we just hosted, look at this individual who's come in and created this amazing event for people to partake in. And that's where our social media is going right now.
Is there a social media presence for the Village Therapy?
A small one. I think that's been a little bit of a challenge for us too. How much do we want to, what do we want that page to be, right? It's more of a psychoeducational page. It's more of, we do offer groups at Village Therapy and Wellness, so we will advertise those groups on there, but it really is more of like a psychoeducation page,
What does that mean? Can you elaborate on that?
helping people learn a little bit more about mental health, learning different aspects of mental health, tips and tricks on how to deal with stress or mindfulness, things along those lines, versus Village Vibes being much more like social and fun and
Well, very
easy,
different
right?
industries.
Very, very different.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
understandably.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like you guys are doing a great job, even though you
Thank
said it's
you.
a small
Hmm.
small
Small presence,
presence. But like, that's
but
exactly if I was
yeah.
going to give a recommendation, because coming from a social media like this, that's my job.
Yeah, okay, it is.
is
Okay.
is I was going to say exactly what you're doing, like just
Okay.
like here's 5 tips to de-stress yourself, or and that's
Hmm.
shareable content that people want to see, and
Exactly.
nobody really wants to see, hey, I'm a therapist or I'm a social worker, and they don't care really. But
Right?
if you were to
Yeah.
say,
Hmm.
I'm a social worker and here are 5 tips that I found that really help de-stress,
Yeah.
that it's, I heard this analogy once years and years ago. It's like essentially give away your best secrets,
Hmm.
because 95% of the time, 98% of the time, people aren't going to actually apply them, and they want somebody else to do it for them. But it
Yeah.
builds a trust that, oh wow, this person knows what they're talking about. So it's the same thing with, like, for example, the original analogy I heard was a mechanic. If a
Okay.
mechanic was like, here's how to change your oil, somebody watches it like, oh wow, now I know how to change my oil.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to change my oil, but I trust that now you know what you're doing, so I'm going to go to you.
I love that.
And it's
I
the
feel like
same
that's
kind of
amazing.
concept, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, okay, here are 5 tips on supporting your
Hmm.
mental health. I'm doing them or I may do
Hmm.
them. I don't, regardless. But now I know that if I ever need more than that, this is somebody that knows what they're talking about, and it creates this level of like a not professionalism isn't the word I'm looking for, but it's like this like a trust
Yeah.
essentially.
Right. The bond
Um,
between a professional, and I think that's for a therapist one of the most important things you're trying to
yeah,
create, right? You want your clients to trust you above all
yeah,
else. So that's when they get to share the
yeah.
most authentic versions of them. So I love that. I think
Yeah,
that's
expertise was
fantastic.
the word I was looking for because it's
There
like,
you
oh,
go.
you show me the expertise, and they're like, well, I want an expert, so
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, very cool.
Yeah. So we try to keep it s- different over on Village Vibes, Village Therapy.
I saw some of the rooms,
Yeah.
and can you talk to me about some of the different rooms that you guys all have?
Yes. So we have, so up front is all of our clinical rooms, and we have a multidisciplinary team on Village Therapy and Wellness. So we have social workers practicing, we have licensed mental health clinicians practicing, we have licensed marriage and family therapists. We also have an art therapist. So you'll notice we'll have an art therapy room that's there, and then our clinical rooms is where everybody practices. We are going to be having an acupuncturist come on board probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. We're working out the details, so we're kind of branching out into different modalities for Village Therapy and Wellness to be able to create like a fuller
Yeah,
service package for
which I think
people.
is really interesting because that
Hmm.
really taps into the wellness side of it, where
Yes.
usually it's you
Hmm.
usually go to your acupuncturist or chiropractor or whatever, right? And then you go to the therapy, and there's two separate things. But it's really
Hmm.
cool to have them all kind of in the same spot.
Yeah, and we like to build slow, right? So we like to be able to take on a project, really get that project where we want it to be, and then move on to the next. So the wellness component of Village Therapy is really the next aspect for us, like bringing on the acupuncturist or maybe different kinds of modalities little by little. So now that we're venturing into that world, we'll figure that out, get that set, and then maybe move into the next wellness modality to bring them on board as well.
Can you tell me a little bit about art therapy,
Mhm.
what that actually is, and how that works?
So art therapy is fantastic, right? It's such a, and it's a really great modality for kids because it allows them to be able to express themselves without words. We can learn so much through people's art, and the modalities that our art therapist is using in there helps kids, adults elicit different emotions and be able to access that and process through that through their artwork. So, for example, like through their drawings, our art therapists can be able to, right, if I'm drawing a picture of my family, now I can ask you about that picture, right? Tell me a little bit more about mom, tell me a little bit more about dad, or the way that they've drawn those figures together. Our art therapist works with them to be able to talk about different issues or even positive things that are going on in their world through their art.
Very interesting.
It is super
Yeah, very
interesting. It
interesting.
is. And it's such a great addition to the practice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet. Is art therapy like a specialty that you have to
It's a
learn?
totally different licensure. Yeah.
Really?
So,
Oh,
yep.
wow.
So, and they're all licensed through New York State as well. So they have to, it's a different kind of education and it's a different type of licensure through New
Mm.
York State. Yeah.
So outside of the wellness part
Mhm.
of Village Therapy, what's next for Village Therapy and Wellness and Village Vibes? What's next for you guys?
So right now, what's next is we just hired a new clinician. So we hired a new social worker. We're bringing on the acupuncturist for Village Therapy and Wellness, and we're moving in that direction as we're starting to continue to grow that. And then for Village Vibes, it really is looking at different entrepreneurs that want to come in, maybe host workshops and host different kinds of events here, and really work on building our community here because we
Mm.
would really like to have a network of people that we are working with to be able to offer different things and make a different kind of impact in the local community.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool. Well, I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited
Thank
for what's
you.
to come. I think that you guys are doing something really, really unique.
Thank you.
And not only is it unique, but it's also well done. And I
Thank
think
you.
that you guys, it's a beautiful space.
I
It's very
appreciate
well
that. Thank you
curated.
very
It's very
much.
well decorated.
Thank you.
As soon as, but like, it's not just
Mhm.
like, it's like people forget that when you walk into a space, what you see and what you smell, the way everything looks creates a vibe,
It
to,
does.
quote
And
your
right?
business name.
Absolutely. And that really is kind of a theme for us, right? The vibe, the energy that everybody brings to a space or that a space brings to you, really, I think, is the core piece of how we function here. So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited
Thank
on the
you.
outside perspective to watch where you guys grow, how you grow and where you guys go with this. So
Thank you
keep
so
up the
much.
great work, and we'll keep you posted.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It
It was
was
a
really
pleasure.
nice meeting you.
Hi, welcome to Village Therapy and Wellness.
Come on
Come on
in.
in. I'm Lisa Murphy. I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
And I'm Jessica Marques, also a licensed clinical social worker. We're the co-owners of Village Therapy and Wellness.
Village Therapy and Wellness is a multidisciplinary team of clinicians that services people from ages starting as young as 6 years old all the way up through lifespan. We are servicing populations that struggle with anxiety, depression. We work with people in individual sessions, group counseling, family therapy. We also are offering workshops and seminars that are educational and informational for people on a variety of different topics.
We have a multidisciplinary team of social workers, licensed mental health counselors, licensed marriage and family therapists, art therapists, and soon to be an acupuncturist on staff here. Let's take a look around.
So this here is my office. It's also used for the other clinicians. This is where, again, we're able to work with people individually. We are able to work with couples and small families inside of these offices. One of the goals for us here at Village Therapy and Wellness is to make sure that people feel very comfortable and very at home here inside of the actual office space.
Here's another one of our clinical offices. It's so important for us to have clients and our clinicians feel as comfortable as possible so that they can make progress on their journeys here. So we have a total of 7 clinical spaces here, including an art therapy room. We have 2 additional offices down this way, and we'll take you down the hall and show you the rest.
So this office here is our art office. This is where our licensed creative art therapist works out of. And as you can see, she lets the kids get super messy and they get their hands very, very busy in this room.
She's created a lot of different artwork for us, including this mural over here. And she is so innovative, offering our team such a wonderful perspective.
So as you can see, this room actually probably looks a little light on furniture, but the reason for that is because we are leaving this space open to additional practitioners to come in and be able to use the space. We are having an acupuncturist that will be in the process of onboarding to be able to offer those additional services to our clients as well.
We want to make this space as functional as possible for other wellness practitioners to be able to service clients here as well. So if you or anyone that you know is in need of any kind of assistance, we hope that you reach out and we'll be here to provide you with support. Hey, welcome to Village Vibes.
Come on in.
So this is our space for Village Vibes. We created this as a place for people to come to host workshops, to host events, to begin their journey for growth and wellness, and just really become one of the most authentic versions of themselves that they can.
Some of the different things that we're hosting here at Village Vibes is really a variety of different topics. We have some workshops where you can come and learn to bake cookies, you can do a pressed flower workshop, or then we have some other seminars that are a little bit more on the educational and informational side. If you are somebody who is struggling with fertility and that journey, we have support groups available to you as well. We have support groups available to those that have children with special needs and are looking for a little extra support in the community, as well as informational seminars for parents to learn how to work with their children during the digital age.
This space is available for rent for entrepreneurs, creators, or anybody just looking to start out on their journey.